So after the 2008 financial crisis, politicians, economists, policymakers, they were all trying to understand what caused it. And one term became quite famous, which was moral hazard decision making. What it means is that when an individual makes a decision, they offload all the risk to a third party and they themselves get all the benefits out of it. And this is kind of what happened in 2008 financial crisis. Hedge fund managers indiscriminately invested clients' money on subprime mortgages, and after that the market went bust. The investors lost money, clients lost money, a lot of lower and upper middle class lost money. But these hedge fund managers, these bankers, they made a lot of money. In some instances, they got a big bonus, even after the financial crisis. Since then, a lot of research has gone into looking at who are the kind of individuals that engage in moral hazard decision making. Some of the research have pointed out that individuals who have a lot of decision-making power, they are the ones who tend to engage in these kind of decision-making behaviors. But that's not really true. That's not reflective of our world. We see not all leaders, not all decision makers are engaging in this kind of behaviors. And this is where our research comes in, where we wanted to look at who are these specific kind of leaders that engage in these kind of behaviors. And in our research, we draw upon two broad ways in which leaders lead. One is called dominance, which is about leaders who are about controlling, they demonstrate authority, they are assertive in their nature. And the other is this idea of prestige. These are the kind of leaders who are respected and admired for their skills, for their expertise, and their tendency to share that with others. In our paper, we argued that dominant leaders will be the ones who will engage in greater moral hazard decision making because they care about themselves a lot more. They tend to come across as selfish. They value their goals a lot more than someone else's goal. Whereas prestige leaders, they tend to be more egalitarian and they are not necessarily care about their own interests, but they also take into account others' interests, and hence they will not engage in these kind of behaviors. And across a bunch of studies, including a study with real financial investors, we found this to be the case, that dominant leaders tend to engage in greater moral hazard decision making. We also wanted to look at why would they do so. And what we found is that dominant leaders are driven by end results. They are more focused on what is their end goal, what they can get out of it, and is there something in it for them. And this whole focus on ends, rather than the means by which they are approaching their ends, makes them to engage in moral hazard decision making. The next question came, can we do something about it? And what we found was, if organization or groups, they create certain kind of accountability structures, which allows individuals to focus more on the process, that is by the way in which they make decisions, rather than the outcome of the decision, rather than focusing what would be the outcome of a decision, that reduces even these dominant leaders' tendency to engage in moral hazard decision making. So just to summarize, this work finds that there are only specific kind of leaders, that is dominant leaders, who engage in moral hazard decision making, but even their tendencies can be curbed if we can create accountability systems that are more focused on process rather than outcome.